The hard truth: men are more emotional than they admit. Have you ever heard someone say, men are more logical, women are more emotional? It's one of the most repeated statements in modern society. It's used to explain everything from leadership to relationships, business, and decision-making. Many people accept it without questioning it, but what if we've been looking at it the wrong way? What if logic isn't determined by whether someone cries? What if logic is determined by the decisions people make, especially when emotions are involved? Think about it. Logic creates peace. Logic protects what you already have. Logic asks, what are the consequences of this decision 5 years from now? Emotion asks, how do I feel right now? The uncomfortable truth is that many men allow emotions to drive some of the biggest decisions of their lives, even while insisting they're acting logically. This isn't about attacking men. This isn't about saying women never make emotional decisions. Everyone has emotions. The question is this: who is actually allowing emotions to control their actions? Let's talk about it. Let's start with one of the biggest examples. A man spends 10 years building a beautiful life. He has a loyal wife, healthy children, a peaceful home, financial stability. People respect him. He's living the life millions dream about. Then one day, someone younger flirts with him. For 5 minutes, he feels admired, his ego lights up, his heart races. Instead of asking, is this worth destroying everything I've built? He follows the feeling: one affair, one mistake, one emotional decision. Suddenly the marriage is over. His children see him differently. Half his assets disappear. His reputation is damaged. His peace is gone. Now ask yourself something. Was that logic or was it emotion? Because logic would have asked, what am I risking? Emotion only asked, how good does this make me feel right now? Here's something many people misunderstand. Being emotional doesn't mean crying. Being emotional means allowing feelings to override wisdom. Anger is emotion. Jealousy is emotion. Pride is emotion. Lust is emotion. Envy is emotion. Ego is emotion. Those emotions often push people into decisions they later regret. Ironically, many men have been taught that sadness is weak, so instead of expressing sadness, it becomes anger. Instead of expressing fear, it becomes aggression. Instead of expressing insecurity, it becomes arrogance. The emotion didn't disappear, it simply changed clothes. Look around. How many fights begin because someone felt disrespected? Someone looked the wrong way. Someone said something online. Someone bumped into someone at a club. Someone challenged another man's pride. Minutes later, police arrive. Families receive phone calls. Lives change forever. What started it? Logic? No, an emotional reaction to wounded pride, logic would have said. This argument isn't worth prison. This isn't worth losing my freedom. This stranger won't matter tomorrow. Emotion whispers, you can't let that slide. You have to prove yourself. You have to win. And people listen. Think about road rage. Someone cuts another driver off. Instead of continuing the journey safely, people chase each other through traffic. Some pull over, some fight, some crash, some even lose their lives. Why? Because for a brief moment, emotion became stronger than reason. Logic would have said, I'm going home safely. Emotion said, I need revenge. Here's another example. Many men stay in jobs they hate for years because they're afraid people will think they're failures if they start over. That's not logic, that's fear. Fear is an emotion. Logic evaluates reality. Emotion protects pride. Now, let's talk about relationships. Many men say they want peace, yet some constantly create chaos. They ignore good women. They chase women who clearly don't respect them. They confuse excitement with compatibility. They mistake drama for passion. Then they wonder why their relationships keep failing. Logic would ask, who consistently brings peace into my life? Emotion asks, who gives me the biggest thrill? Those aren't the same question. Social media has made this even worse. Validation has become addictive. Likes, attention, messages, followers. Many people begin making life decisions based on strangers' approval. They buy cars. They can't afford designer clothes they don't need, luxury watches on credit, not because it improves their lives, but because someone else might be impressed. Logic builds wealth, emotion buys status. One of the most dangerous emotions is ego. Ego tells a man, you always have to be right. You can never apologize. You must always win. But ask yourself, how many marriages have ended because neither person wanted to admit they were wrong? How many friendships disappeared because someone couldn't say two simple words? I'm sorry, those two words cost almost nothing. Pride can cost everything. Here's something successful people understand. Discipline often means choosing logic over emotion. You don't save money because you feel like it. You save because it's wise. You don't exercise every day because you're motivated. You do it because your future self benefits. You don't stay faithful because temptation disappears. You stay faithful because commitment matters more than temporary excitement. That's logic. This doesn't mean men are incapable of logic, far from it. Men have built incredible civilizations, created groundbreaking inventions, led rescue missions, solved impossible engineering problems, shown immense courage in dangerous situations. The point isn't that men can't be logical. The point is that intelligence alone doesn't stop emotional decision-making. A brilliant engineer can still ruin his marriage through impulsive choices. A successful businessman can still let pride destroy lifelong friendships. A talented athlete can still lose everything because of uncontrolled anger. Being intelligent isn't the same as having emotional discipline. Perhaps the strongest person isn't the one who wins every fight. Perhaps the strongest person is the one who doesn't need to fight at all. The man who walks away from unnecessary conflict isn't weak. He understands something many never learn. Peace is harder to build than chaos. Chaos happens in seconds. Peace takes years. And that's why logic protects peace. Emotion often destroys it. Let's go even deeper. If someone asked you, what is the opposite of emotion? Most people would answer, logic. But that's only partly true. The real opposite of emotional decision-making is self-control. Because emotions themselves aren't the enemy. Every human being experiences anger, fear, excitement, loneliness, attraction, disappointment, and pride. The difference is what you do with those emotions. Do they guide you or do they control you? That's the question. Let's talk about one of the biggest examples, cheating. Many men will say, it just happened. But think about that. Cheating doesn't just happen. It's usually a series of emotional decisions. You respond to a message, you keep texting, you hide your phone, you meet in private, you cross boundaries. At every step, there was an opportunity to stop. Logic would ask, is a few moments of excitement worth destroying years of trust? Emotion says, I deserve this. Logic sees the future. Emotion lives in the moment, and when the excitement fades, reality takes over. Families are broken. Children are caught in the middle. Trust disappears. The thrill lasted hours. The consequences can last a lifetime. Now let's talk about ego. Ego is one of the strongest emotions a man can experience. It whispers, you have to prove yourself. Prove you're successful. Prove you're respected. Prove you're attractive. Prove you're powerful. But here's the irony. The people you're trying to impress usually aren't thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. How many men buy things they can't afford because they want strangers to think they're successful? A luxury car with overwhelming monthly payments, designer clothes purchased on credit, jewelry bought just for appearances. Logic says, build financial security first. Ego says, look successful now. One creates wealth, the other creates stress. Then there's the constant need for validation. Social media has amplified this more than ever. A compliment feels good. Attention feels good. Being admired feels good. There's nothing wrong with enjoying appreciation. The problem begins when your self-worth depends on it. Some men become addicted to being desired, even if they have a loving partner at home. They still crave attention from other women. Not because something is missing in the relationship, but because something is missing within themselves. No amount of outside validation can permanently fix inner insecurity. That's work each person has to do for themselves. Let's talk about competition. Healthy competition can motivate people to improve, but unhealthy competition can become destructive. Some men don't just want to succeed. They want to succeed more than everyone else. They compare salaries, cars, homes, relationships, clothes, vacations, followers. Everything becomes a contest. But comparison is emotionally exhausting. Logic asks, Am I making progress compared to who I was last year? Emotion asks, am I better than him? Those are two completely different mindsets. One builds confidence, the other creates endless dissatisfaction. Here's another emotional trap: refusing to ask for help. Many men are taught that asking for help is weakness, so they struggle in silence. They avoid therapy, they avoid honest conversations, they bottle up stress until it comes out as anger, withdrawal, or destructive behavior. But think about this: if your car had engine trouble, you'd probably call a mechanic. If your roof collapsed, you'd call a builder. If your phone stopped working, you'd look for someone who could fix it. Why should your emotional well-being be any different? Seeking support isn't weakness. Sometimes it's one of the most responsible decisions a person can make. Another emotion that quietly controls many lives is fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of looking foolish, fear of starting over. Fear keeps people in unhealthy relationships. Fear keeps people in jobs they hate. Fear keeps people from pursuing opportunities they've dreamed about for years. Logic examines the risks honestly. Emotion often exaggerates them. Sometimes, the biggest obstacle isn't the world around us. It's the story fear keeps repeating in our minds. Now let's talk about anger. Anger isn't always the problem. Anger can alert us when something is unfair or harmful. The danger comes when anger becomes the driver instead of the passenger. An angry text sent in 10 seconds can destroy a friendship. An angry punch thrown in 5 seconds can lead to years of regret. A harsh sentence spoken in the heat of the moment can stay with someone for decades. Logic pauses, emotion reacts. That's why one of the most powerful habits anyone can develop is learning to pause before responding. Sometimes, the strongest response is no response at all. Many men say they want respect, and respect is important. But respect isn't earned by intimidation. It's earned through consistency, integrity, keeping your word, treating people fairly, taking responsibility when you're wrong. Anyone can demand respect. Not everyone earns it. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Some men confuse control with strength. They try to control their partner, control every conversation, control every disagreement, control every outcome, but genuine confidence doesn't need constant control. People who are secure in themselves don't feel threatened by every disagreement or difference of opinion. Real strength isn't about overpowering others. It's about mastering yourself. History is filled with examples of men who achieved incredible success, only to lose everything because they couldn't control their impulses. Not because they lacked intelligence, not because they lacked talent, but because they lacked discipline over their emotions. That's a lesson that applies to everyone, regardless of gender. Potential means very little without self-control. So, what does emotional maturity actually look like? It looks like walking away from a pointless argument. It looks like apologizing if you've hurt someone. It looks like saying, I was wrong. It looks like choosing faithfulness when temptation appears. It looks like making decisions based on your values instead of your impulses. It looks like protecting your peace instead of feeding your pride. And perhaps most importantly, it looks like recognizing that feeling an emotion doesn't mean you have to obey it. You can feel anger without becoming violent. You can feel attraction without betraying someone's trust. You can feel fear without letting it stop your growth. You can feel pride without letting it become arrogance. That's emotional strength. The goal isn't to become emotionless. The goal is to become emotionally disciplined, because emotions are powerful servants, but they make terrible masters. As we come to the end of this conversation, I want to leave you with one important thought. This isn't about proving that men are bad. It isn't about claiming that women are always more logical. Every human being has emotions, and every human being can make irrational decisions. The real question is this: are you willing to let your emotions rule your life, or are you willing to master them? That's where real growth begins. Think about the men you admire most. Is it the loudest man in the room, the one who starts the most fights, the one who constantly seeks attention? Or is it the man who remains calm when everyone else is losing control? The man who keeps his word, the man who protects his family, the man who admits when he's wrong, the man who builds instead of destroys. Those qualities don't come from having no emotions. They come from learning how to manage them for years. Society has often encouraged men to hide vulnerability. Many boys grow up hearing things like, "Don't cry," "Man up," "Be tough." While resilience is valuable, those messages can sometimes be misunderstood. They can teach boys to suppress emotions instead of understanding them. Unprocessed emotions don't disappear. Sometimes they come out as anger, sometimes a resentment, sometimes as reckless decisions. Learning to recognize your emotions isn't weakness. It's part of becoming emotionally mature. If you're a man watching this today, ask yourself a few honest questions. Have I ever let my pride cost me a relationship? Have I ever made a decision because I wanted validation? Have I ever stayed angry longer than necessary? Have I ever refused to apologize simply because I wanted to be right? Have I ever confused ego with strength? Those aren't questions to make you feel ashamed. They're questions meant to help you grow. Growth begins with honesty. One of the greatest lies we tell ourselves is, this is just who I am. No, it's who and it's not necessarily who you have to remain. People change, people mature, people learn. And every day is another opportunity to make better decisions. Imagine a world where more men chose wisdom over pride, where fathers stayed present, where disagreements ended in conversation instead of violence, where loyalty was valued more than temporary excitement, where protecting peace mattered more than winning arguments. That doesn't mean life would become perfect, but many families would be stronger, many friendships would last longer, many children would grow up in more stable homes, and many regrets would never happen. Real masculinity isn't measured by how many people fear you, it's measured by how many people can depend on you. Real confidence doesn't shout, it doesn't constantly need to prove itself, it doesn't seek validation from strangers. It quietly shows up every day, keeps its promises, and accepts responsibility. That kind of strength is built over time. Here's something worth remembering. Anyone can react. Very few people know how to respond. Reaction is automatic. Response is intentional. Reaction is driven by impulse. Response is guided by wisdom. When someone insults you, your first reaction might be anger. When someone betrays you, your first reaction might be revenge. When you're tempted, your first reaction might be to chase the feeling. But you don't have to act on every reaction. The space between feeling and action is where character is formed. If you're trying to become a better man, don't focus only on becoming stronger. Become wiser. Don't focus only on becoming richer. Become more dependable. Don't focus only on being respected. Become respectable, because respect that is earned lasts much longer than respect that is demanded. Remember this: a man who can lift heavy weights is impressive. A man who can control his temper is powerful. A man who can earn money is successful. A man who can protect his family, keep his promises, and remain faithful is invaluable. Those are different kinds of strength, and the second kind often takes more discipline than the first. At the end of your life, people probably won't remember the arguments you won. They'll remember how you treated people. They'll remember whether you were trustworthy, whether your children felt safe around you, whether your partner knew they could rely on you, whether your friends believed your word. Those are the things that leave a legacy. So here's the challenge. The next time you're angry, pause. The next time your pride tells you to prove yourself, pause. The next time your ego wants the last word, pause. Ask yourself one simple question: will this decision bring me peace or just temporary satisfaction? If the answer is temporary satisfaction, think twice, because emotions fade, consequences remain. The strongest man isn't the one who wins every fight. The strongest man is the one who knows which fights are worth walking away from. The wisest man isn't the one who never feels emotion. The wisest man is the one who refuses to let emotion become his master. So let's stop pretending that self-control is weakness. Let's stop confusing ego with confidence. Let's stop glorifying chaos when peace requires far more courage. Because real strength isn't found in overpowering others, it's found in mastering yourself, and that journey begins the moment you're honest enough to admit, I still have room to grow. Thank you for watching. If this message challenged you or gave you something to think about, share it with someone who might benefit from it. And if you'd like more conversations about relationships, personal growth, accountability, and becoming the best version of yourself, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Welcome to Soft Power Psychology, where emotional patterns become power, pain becomes wisdom, and silence becomes self-respect.